The marriage was never meant to be kind. It was a punishment, decided by people who believed they had the right to shape her fate. She had done nothing wrong, at least nothing that deserved this, but in their eyes, her silence, her independence, her refusal to bend had been enough. So they forced her into a life she never chose. On the day of the wedding, she stood still, her face calm, her eyes empty of protest. Inside, she carried storms no one could see. When they told her to accept him as her husband, she simply nodded. He was known as a cold man, quiet, distant, the kind of man who kept to himself and trusted no one. People whispered that she would suffer under him, that this marriage would break her completely. But the truth was far more complicated. The first night, she stepped into his house like a stranger entering Chuge land. He sat on a wooden chair, watching her carefully, unsure what to say. "You can rest," he muttered. "No one will bother you here." She gave a small nod. "Thank you." That was the beginning. Days passed, then weeks. She worked quietly, cleaning, cooking, fixing things that had long been ignored. She never complained, never asked for anything. Her presence was gentle, almost invisible, yet somehow it changed the atmosphere of the house, he noticed. And every night, without fail, he asked the same question. "Why are you this kind?" At first, she avoided answering. She would smile faintly or change the topic. But he didn't stop asking. It began to bother him, confuse him. "You don't hate me?" he asked one evening, his voice sharper than usual. She looked at him calmly. "Should I? This marriage, it wasn't your choice." "Nor yours," she replied softly. He had no answer to that. Still, the question remained. One night, as the wind howled outside and the lantern flickered, he asked again, this time quieter. "Why are you this kind to me?" She sat in silence for a moment, then spoke. "Because kindness is the only thing they couldn't take from me." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "They took my freedom, my decisions, my voice in my own life," she said, her tone steady but heavy. "But how I treat others, that still belongs to me." Her words stayed with him long after that night. He began to see her differently, not as someone weak or broken, but as someone strong in a way he had never understood. Her kindness wasn't submission, it was a choice. Slowly, he changed too. He started helping her without being asked, fixing things before they broke, leaving small things for her, fresh fruit, a repaired tool, quiet gestures he never thought himself capable of. One evening, he found her sitting outside, watching the sky turn gold and red. "You don't have to stay," he said suddenly. She looked at him. "And go where?" "Anywhere but here," he replied. "You deserve a life you choose." She studied his face, then shook her head gently. "Maybe choice isn't always where you begin," she said. "Sometimes, it's what you create after. For the first,